You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jen, and we are two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way.
Today, we thought we would just take a relaxed kind of day and just chat about June being over. June was one of our busiest months, and so I'm kind of experiencing an adrenaline dump. And I just kind of want to unpack it and just talk about what's on our minds.
Yeah, June was absolutely insane. Going into it, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? But you always figure it out. That's the best thing about owning your own business. You have no other option. You have to figure it out. So you just got to figure it out. But it was an interesting June for me. I don't even know how many events we had, actually. I should probably look. But we were booked every single weekend. We had our first double event weekend, which was amazing. And it was just really fun. But it was, I feel the same way. I feel like it was so crazy. And now I'm kind of at a slower point in July, and I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And how's the 2 trailers coming along?
Oh my gosh. So it's finally 90% finished. We actually have 2 double events this week. So I have 2 tomorrow, which is a Thursday, and then I have 2 on Saturday.
Wow.
And yeah, it's crazy. So it's chucking along.
Yeah. Oh man. Just so much to unpack in June. I had so many also back-to-back wedding days where it would be a Friday and then a Sunday, and then on Saturday I would have engagement sessions. There was one weekend where I was second shooting on Friday, and then I had an elopement in Rhode Island, or an engagement session in Rhode Island at 8 a.m. and then a City Hall elopement in the middle of the day, and then an engagement session in Litchfield, and then the next day I had a wedding. So it was just looking back, I'm why did I do that to myself? Scheduling things, you don't really think about it.
No.
Because if somebody asks me to shoot something, I want to say yes, and I'm going to do everything I can in my power to do it. And now that I've done that and done everything in my power to do it, where I have a triple booked day, I'm maybe that wasn't the best idea.
It's so funny you say that, because I think after my first season, I would say yes to anything, no matter where it was. Obviously it has to be in Connecticut, but I was saying yes to events that were almost 2 hours away. And it took me a season to realize that wasn't how I wanted to run my business, because I would go to those events and I would be so frustrated because I'd be stuck in traffic on my way there. I'd be showing up late because I didn't account for all the traffic that was going to be there. We'd be rushing to get ready, and it just wasn't the same feeling that I had if I wasn't rushing and getting there. And I would get there early. We usually get there 2 hours before. So, it's just, I feel you learn things in your business, trial and error, obviously.
Yeah.
But now I don't say yes to anything that's over an hour. And it's hard to say no to that, but I've learned that something else is going to come along.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to say no at first, because you're well, this is a piece of business and I'm not booked yet, and I need the revenue and I need the money, and I want to book this event. But you have to learn that something else is going to come.
Right. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, just because that's been on my mind, is I feel I've been complaining a lot about how much work I have, and I feel that's just so, I feel I feel guilty and ungrateful for it, but truly you do get tired, and truly when you are a one-man band and you have, whatever number of clients, and you're doing your thing, I feel this has been my first year where I've really been at it full time. Just hit my 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
But I don't know, in that first year I was just second shooting, and then in this past season I was doing both, and was only doing 1 or 2 weddings of my own each month. And then this year, June, I think I only second shot a handful of times, and all of the weddings I had were my own. And I just feel complaining about it and be I need to stop booking so much. I feel I feel a brat. I feel spoiled saying that, but you do have to take care of yourself and know what your limits are. And I do need to remind myself that I'm grateful for those things. And sometimes getting swept up in the work of it, you kind of forget that you're grateful for it. So I wanted to take this hour with you just to take a back seat and be June was crazy, but I'm grateful for it. And it truly was a good experience and great for our businesses. And it was a learning experience and everything, but just
I
grateful.
think
I don't know.
That's what you have to remind yourself. Like, I used to have a gratitude journal, which I need to get back into. It was called the 5-minute journal.
I've heard of that.
Have you heard of it?
That, yeah.
So I got it actually during the pandemic because it was like something that I kept seeing and hearing, and I just thought that, you know, we were all like so crazy during the pandemic, and it's like you have to remind yourself the things that you are grateful for.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay to complain a little bit, because I think that you need to remind yourself, like, you are a human.
Yeah.
You are allowed to have these feelings, and you're allowed to have, you know, just the stress that comes along with it. But I also think as an entrepreneur, like, we feed off of stress a little bit. And I do anyway.
We do.
I definitely do. That's why, like, right now I'm in a season where I'm like, I'm not as stressed as I was in June. So I'm almost like, what do I do with myself? Like, what do I do in my downtime?
I know. That's what I want to talk about today. Well, there's so much I want to talk about today that's just, like, along those lines. But same. Like, looking at my calendar for last month and then looking at my calendar for this month, I'm like, whoa. Mm-hmm. It's, like, way less than half. And it's just the way that it is. That's
I think,
just the way
too,
that
like,
it is.
something that I've learned this is now my 3rd season, and something that I've also learned is, and I took this from my corporate background, less sometimes is more if you are doing it the right way. So, like, I took on a lot more weddings this year, so the revenue in my business is higher, but I have less events. So it's like,
right.
You also have to weigh that out. Like, are you doing the right type of events where you might be slower in July, but you might have more of your own weddings, whereas June, maybe you were doing different types of things.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to look at, like, your revenue from month to month. Like, is July slower but more revenue, or is it the same? I always like to look at that in my business too.
It's interesting.
Just to see, like, the difference. But I read a quote the other day. It was like, if you are not working on something, work on yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's such a good reminder that we all need, because when you're busy, you forget about everything else. You're just like, go, 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 go. And I think sometimes you have to really remember that you have to slow down as a human, or you're going to burn yourself out.
Yeah.
Especially in this business.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, honestly, for July. Well, July's almost over. What day is it?
I know, it's crazy.
August, I guess. I'm looking
crazy.
forward to August. July has been, like, a little bit of a trickle, I feel like. Like, June was huge, and, like, early July was, like, you know, getting out of it. I had 2 weddings, and I just had 2 for the month of July, and I'm second shooting, but I'm not going to count those. And then August, I only have 1 for my business, but it's a photo video day, and it's, you know, a lot more work. Mm-hmm. So, I might have done that on purpose now that I think about it, but I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm looking forward to, as you said, like, slowing down and getting back into reading and getting back into crocheting. Yeah. And I'm pet sitting a lot. I'm pet sitting, like, the entire month of August. I think I'm only going to be, like, sleeping at home, like, 3 nights the whole month of August, because I have, like, back-to-back families, which I love, and it is kind of, like, it is sort of, it's not passive income, but, like, I can work on my business and edit the weddings and edit the podcast and upload those things and work on it while I'm getting paid to be in someone else's home. So I do kind of like that, but I feel like my life is a lot more structured when I'm pet sitting also, because they, like, wake me up in the morning at, like, 7 o'clock, and they're like, I gotta go potty, and then, you know, I don't know, I feel like I'm on, like, more of, like, a schedule, and I always feel like I have a routine when I'm doing that. As I wake up in the morning, I read a little, eat breakfast, then get to work, and then feed them dinner, and then, you know, like, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, and working on myself if I'm not working on the business. And
I think that this is the universe, like, telling us, like, you can have a busy season, but then you need to slow down. And, like, maybe that's why our Julys aren't as crazy, and August, because fall is going to be nuts for us. So I feel like we need those, like, little slower seasons to, like, remind us that busy season's coming back. And, like, for us, we have a very long, quote-unquote, off-season, which it's not off-season because we're still working.
Yeah.
But I was just talking to someone, it's like, in the winter, you grow yourself and your business, too. So I feel like we also need these little hiccups in our busy season, because if we were go, 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 like, we would get burnt out.
Definitely.
So I think it's really important to have this time to be able to remember busy season's coming again.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I totally agree. I think I'm, like, twiddling my thumbs some days, and then Like, for example, this week I kept telling myself, I'm going to be proactive. I have 2 events on Thursday. Like, let's do the things that I don't need to do the day before. Because I have to prep, like, all the fresh ingredients the day before. But, like, I can do things, you know, the few days prior. But last night, I'm up doing everything till 12 o'clock, 12 a.m. And I'm like, Jen, you had slow days. Like, why didn't you do this? But, again, I feed off of stress.
Yeah, that's true. I do feel like I feel like I edit faster. I feel like I respond to emails better. I like when I'm busier, you definitely have more of a motivation to be on top of yourself when you're busier. Yeah. It's true. I don't know why that is, but that's definitely true. And then in the off season in like February or like December, I always I just hit my 2-year anniversary, so I don't know why I'm saying always, because it's probably only happened once, but I guess maybe it's a goal. I always plan on having a to-do list for winter. So right now I have like in my notes app a running list of things that I want to work on.
Oh, that's
and like
good.
the back end of my business. Yeah, like tweaks I want to make to my website when right now I feel like I do not have the time for that. But it's something that I've noticed where I'm like, oh, this needs to be fixed. But, you know, not urgently. So I have like things in the works like in my mind that I'm like, oh, I want to work on this, but I don't have the time right now. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your event that just happened.
Yeah.
I want to hear all about it.
At the end of June, this is also another reason why June was crazy, was because I put on a networking event for photographers in June, which was kind of bad logic, but I was working with a lovely partner. Her name is Jess. She's also a photographer, and we work together a lot. But when I came to her with the idea, it was probably in like April, or like late March maybe, something like that. And it'd been on my mind for a little while, and after going to your event, your vendor event, it kind of like sparked it in me to be like, this is possible, I can do this. And I felt a lot more motivated to do it. And so when I reached out to her, I was like, I love this idea, like I need help like narrowing down like the fine details, do you want in on it? And she was like, yes, absolutely. And we were just so eager to do it that we didn't want to wait until next year or wait until the fall. And we knew that fall would be crazy, and a big part of it was to allow photographers a space to network with each other, especially to find gigs for second shooting. We were like, the best time to do this is right now. And it was like April. Your event was in April, right? Yeah, so it must have been in April. And we were like, we have to do this by June. We have to do this by like June, because that's when you're going to want to connect with people and find other people to second shoot.
Like, you need it.
Yeah, and it was like a kickoff to busy season party was kind of another thought for it. So we decided to do it in June, when we both had like triple header weekends like all the time, and we both learned a lot of lessons. But it went really well.
I'm so happy.
And yeah, I wish that the turnout could have been better if we had done it on a different day. We did it on a Thursday in June, which was great for a lot of people, but a lot of people had vacations or were shooting or, you know, just couldn't make it because it's literally June. So next year it'll probably be in like May. Or something like that, or like late fall. Maybe we'll do it.
But I feel like it was probably also good to not have the biggest for your first, so you can kind of get the hiccups out and things like that. But oh, I'm so happy. It looked amazing and just seeing like other people sharing it, you know, that you never met, and you got you like the sense of feeling that I felt from the big event that we hosted, which we're hosting another on October 18th in New Canaan. I'm so excited. But I felt a sense of like connection, and I feel like you probably felt that from yours, where you got people, like-minded people in a room together, and you got businesses to be able to collaborate with each other and just talk and, you know, do those things that social media really can't do for you. And I just feel like when you're in a room with people who have the same vision, have the same ideas, it's a totally different connection.
Yeah, it's way more real than Instagram or social media, where you can comment on somebody's picture and be like, oh, love that, that's so cool, versus like in person with somebody when you're shaking their hand and you're like, you're so cool. Like it means more.
100%.
What are your plans for the next one? Are you gonna do anything
So
differently?
it's called Fall Into the Holidays.
Oh, I love
so
that.
It's going to be like a really fun, like visionary experience. So it's at the Carriage House in New Canaan at Waveney Park, and we're going to do like it's going to start with fall and then go into like November, go into December, and like the whole experience is going to be like you're like walking through the seasons.
I love that.
So
That's
we're
cool.
really excited.
That's cool.
We're getting all, vendors again together, small businesses, small, large, all businesses, and really just like showcasing the space again, and then allowing businesses to, be able to use their creativity in a space where people can see it. They could feed off of each other. It was so amazing, the last one that we did, and we had 200 people. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So we're excited to do another one. But yeah, it's going to be really fun. So we'll see.
Do you have a date for it?
October 18th.
October
Yes.
18th.
Yeah, so we're excited. It's
Nice.
I believe it's a Thursday. Yeah, almost positive.
Cool.
So yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, so diving back into like a topic that we kind of want to talk about, which I feel like goes into our season right now, of being a little slower at times, but we've talked about this before, but we want to talk about imposter syndrome again.
Yeah.
So I actually was feeling this recently, not full imposter syndrome, but almost like, can I do this syndrome?
Yeah.
And it was kind of along the lines of like, I have these 2 trailers, which is always, since my first season, has been my dream in this business, to grow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's an amazing feeling being able to see, the fruits of my labor coming to a head, but it's also very stressful because I'm now having to take myself out of the equation of just bartending the events, and I actually have to like have staff. Like my event tomorrow, we have 2 events. They're both corporate events. One is 150 people, and we have 4 bartenders.
Oh, wow.
And the other, which is in Fairfield, right down the street from my house, and then the other is in Stamford, and it's another 100 people. So there's just 2 of us doing that, but I had to figure out the logistics, and I can't work the big one because I have to drive and drop off the trailers at the trailer at the second one. So it's like things like this that has become a little more stressful than I thought it was going to be. And I do this on my own. Like my husband is amazing, and he's like such a big supporter, but like I'm also a perfectionist. So anytime he wants to help me, I'm like, no, I got this.
And
but
it's also a Thursday, and so I'm sure he's
working.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly. But I've learned that I need to allow my team to help me, and really allow other people to help you in your business. And I think that is a huge portion of growing in business, because you have to let go. In order to be able to see yourself and your business succeed, you have to let go. And I took my girls out for an outing. We did the pedal.
I saw.
Oh my gosh,
that
it was so much fun.
Cute.
So they're based out of one's in Milford and one's in Stamford, and it's basically like a booze cruise. But you have to like pedal, but fun fact, you really don't have to pedal anything. It's more for show.
Oh my gosh.
There's like a motor on the boat. Like,
that's
you don't really
funny.
pedal. We actually ended up sitting in like the couches in the back of the boat. But it was so fun, and it totally filled me with joy, because my girls were like, we absolutely love working with you. Like, we can't thank you enough. Like, you've just been so amazing. And it's like, as a business owner, you need that reminder, because you feel like you're not doing all the right things all the time. So for them to tell me that was really amazing. And it was really, really fun.
Things like that are so important, just to show people that you're grateful for them, and just not make everything about work. I think too.
It's
and
so
I mean,
important.
Work trip, sort of. But like,
good write-off.
Great write-off, great exercise.
Yes, we got our exercise in.
But yeah, to like just remind yourself that like it's we've said this a lot, but that like entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey, and so to make as many friends as you can through it is so important. And so to not make everybody that you're meeting through work solely about work, but also to invite them on friend dates and like do other things with them that maybe aren't so related to work is really good for you and your mental health and for your relationship with them, and it'll make your bonds stronger and your work better, and the trust bigger. And
I had coffee with 2 entrepreneurs yesterday, and we had been trying to meet up for a while, and we finally were able to do it. And I think it's just like that reminder that you're all going through the same things. You're all going through the fears of, can I really do this? Is this going to work out? I'm not getting any leads today, like, or this week or this month. And, am I going to be successful through this? And I think those are the times that you have to remind yourself, again, why you started this business and where you want to see yourself. And it's like, okay, if you're not getting the business, well, why aren't you out going finding it? And what are you doing to get the business? And I think like that's where the imposter syndrome comes in, because it's like, if you're not busy, you're looking at it like, wait a minute, like, can I really do this business?
Yeah.
And it falls into that. And then you're seeing other people who are busy, but maybe they weren't busy when you were busy.
Right.
You just didn't see it.
Everybody's life is different. Everybody's seasons are different. Everybody's bookings are different. Everybody's business is different. You're so right. Like, we had a busy June, but maybe everybody else has a busy July.
Yeah.
And so for us, like, we were so busy last month that we didn't have the time to, like, be scrolling on Instagram. But this month we do. So to be seeing...
Oh, I love that,
you know? So to be seeing... If we're on Instagram, like, all of July, because we have free time, and we're seeing other businesses thriving in July, we're going to think, why isn't that me? But that was literally us a month ago, and maybe our seasons were just reversed with them. They might have been thinking the exact same thing about us last month, but we were just too busy to see it.
Oh my gosh, you just hit the nail on the head with that. And I think that's so... that's a reminder that we all, like, social media is fake. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Like, we only put the good things out.
Right.
Everybody does. It wouldn't be social media if you didn't. I mean, some people do show the behind the scenes, but I think you're so right. That's so good.
But
I have nothing to say. That's so good.
You're only going to notice something. You're only going to know something if you see it.
Yep.
And, like, maybe we just didn't see it last month. And
Yeah.
other people were seeing us. And now that we're paying attention to everybody else now. Yeah. And imposter syndrome for me, why I put it on the list for talking today, is I've had so many inquiries lately, like the past couple of weeks, just like every day. And I'm a person that, like, needs to know why. And, like, I need to, I like to make plans for things, and I'm, like, a planner, and I need to know why and, like, how something works. And so, for me, I haven't posted anything in a while. I'm like, why am I getting so many inquiries right now?
Do you have on your
giving
thing
me imposter
where they
syndrome.
found you?
I do. And some people have written TikTok, some write Instagram, some write client referral, some have said vendor referral. And I love that, and I'm grateful for it, and that's the whole point of this episode, is, like, I'm grateful for the inquiries that I'm having, but I'm wondering why I'm getting them. I'm like, and I feel like that's probably the definition of imposter syndrome, is being successful and being like, but why? I'm not that good, you know? But, like, I can sometimes feel, when I make a post about something specific, about a venue, or about a certain location, or whatever, I will get inquiries for that location. So one of my inquiries, I just made a post on my stories that I did an engagement session at Bartlett Arboretum in Stanford, and I got an inquiry for that yesterday, which is just, like, I think it's just a park. I don't think they do weddings or anything, but it was, the name of the venue was, like, Bartlett something, and it's in Stanford, so it's probably, like, a road name or something. I'm not familiar with the area, but I'm like, how can I, like, that's got to be connected to the story post I made yesterday.
Right.
Like, somebody definitely saw that and was like, oh, like, I'm getting married there, you know? And that's happened to me a couple of times. So that, like, I can see how that works. Like, I can see, oh, I made this post and I'm getting this inquiry because of this. But for me to just get random inquiries out of the blue, I'm like, why am I getting these? Like, I don't understand.
I love that this bothers you, because this would never bother me.
I'm grateful for it. And I'm not really, like, bothered by, like, I appreciate it, and I'm excited about it, and I, like, don't, like, knock on wood, you know, like, I'm happy about it. But I'm like, I've been really slacking on the Instagram game in the past couple of weeks because of June, and so I'm like, where are they coming? I don't get it.
No, I just, not that it bothers you, but I just love that this is how your brain works, and you're like, why? Where I'm like, cool.
I mean, that's what I was saying at first, but it's still happening, and I'm like, but why? I don't get it.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know, I'm just confused. And a lot of them lately have been for weddings in New Hampshire, which I'm so thrilled about. And I feel like that's a manifestation thing, because I've only shot in New Hampshire twice.
But you want to do
But I want to. And that was, like, an active decision and something that I put out into the universe, like, a year ago, when I was, like, you know, slow season, working on all the Facebook groups and stuff like that. And booked 2 weddings in New Hampshire for this year. One of them has already happened, and I had an engagement session the day after, and that was fantastic. So I do have 2 things on my account, on my Instagram account, 2 posts that are, you know, tagged in New Hampshire. But I'm getting like a third of them are for New Hampshire right now, of my recent inquiries, and I'm like,
how? Why?
How? Why? Why? Because people can tell I'm not from there. And I've made a couple of posts for New Hampshire with, you know, photos that I've taken there, but I'm like, Why? those like 2 or 3 posts are getting me all these inquiries. I'm like, is that real, or I'm just like, did I manifest it, and is that why it's happening? Right. Like, I need to know why.
I think you need to ask them, because then you can continue to do whatever they're finding you on.
But they always just put like Instagram or something like that, and I'm like,
interesting.
But why me over somebody like local to there? And there's one couple that is close to booking at Hope. Just sent them their proposal and got off the phone with them like 2 days ago, and they live in Danbury. But they're getting married in New Hampshire.
Right. Oh,
so I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
But like, still, why me? I don't know. I'm just thinking, why me a lot lately, and I feel like that's just
because
a nutshell of imposter syndrome.
It is, no, and that's totally fair and valid that you can have those feelings, because I don't fully know what you're going through, because I don't have those. My feelings are more like, I look at my competition a lot, and I'm like, how come they're busier than I am, or whatever it may be. That's where like my why comes in. But I see where you're coming from.
They may just make themselves look busier than they are too. True. Like you just said, social media is so fake.
Yeah.
And people will come up to me and say that to me when I'm like going out for coffee or whatever, and they're like, "I see you've been busy." And I'm like,
I get that a lot.
I mean, yeah, but I'm always like, how did you know that? And I'm like, forget that like Instagram's a thing and that I use it.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, how did you know that? But like, how do people define busy? Like, you know, busy to me might not be crazy busy, but it could be crazy busy to them. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Another thing I want to talk about was going through like seasons, and I've learned that there's seasons in life and seasons in business and seasons in your personal everything, which I think is really interesting to talk about. But one of the things that I've been like seeing lately, even just with myself, because I'm so busy, I haven't had the time to like really catch up with friends or see my family as much. And I listened to a podcast actually on the way here, and she talked about like there's going to be seasons of people in and out of your life too. And I think that's important to remember in business, and even mainly in business, is like it's okay to have a season of like different friendships too, and different relationships. And like right now, my friendships and my like I see my family a lot, but like this isn't the season where I'm going to see them the most. And I think that's okay, because I'm growing my business. And I think you need to remind yourself, like, for me, it's hard because I always hung out with my friends. And even now with that, we have kids and families and things like that. We try to do things here and there. My friends would laugh because they have a book club and I don't read books. But I tried for a little bit. And then I excused myself from the book club. And now I've gotten myself back into the book club. But I'm like, I'm probably still not going to read, but I'll come for the wine and the cheese.
Yeah.
I'll bring a lot of wine.
Oh my god.
But it's so funny. So anyway, they have their book club tomorrow night. I have 2 events tomorrow, so I can't go.
Right.
But I think it's okay. Like, you find your core people in your life and in your business and even your clients. Like, it's okay if a client isn't for you. Like, I feel like I need to remind myself that. That's my imposter syndrome. Like, when someone doesn't book with me, it's like, well, why? Like, were my prices too high? Was it, something I said that you didn't like? Was it, there's different reasons that go through my head.
See, that doesn't bother me. See? So we're kind of reversed on that. The inquiries and why I get them, that bothers me.
No.
But people not booking me doesn't bother me. I just let them go. I'm like,
when they ghost me, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, you probably were just shopping around. Yeah. But if you like start having that conversation and then they're like, we moved to, I don't know, whatever the reason is.
That doesn't hurt me.
It doesn't hurt me, but it's just, that's where my why comes in. Like, why didn't you book with me?
Please excuse the interruption, but our camera and audio cut out. Actually, our audio wasn't recording. Our podcast mic audio wasn't recording, and so we're just going off of my camera footage and audio, and apologies for the camera cutting out and overheating. The next topic that we're discussing is very off track of what you last heard, so apologies if that doesn't make any sense, but I couldn't not include it, so here we go.
Not many have asked to hang out lately, and sometimes you get that like, well, why haven't they asked me? And it's like, but have I asked them? Like, no, I haven't, because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like you have to almost like turn the tables sometimes too, and this is getting out of business and more into like friendships and relationships, but I think that's important because that's part of your life too.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to remind yourself, like, go through a busy season, come out of it, take a deep breath, and then like reevaluate. Like, do you miss seeing some of your family? Do you
Right,
miss seeing
yeah.
some of your friends? Like, call them for coffee, call them for something, or just send them a text message.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I feel like I forget to do those little things where it's like sending someone a text message, being like, hey, thinking about you, how are you?
Yeah.
You know, like, because we're so busy.
Yeah. Every relationship, friendship, business relationship is a two-way street. Yeah. And I forget that sometimes too, where like somebody will be on my mind, I'm like, oh, I need to text them, and then you just like forget, and then you're like, oh, they didn't text me back, but I never texted them in the first place. But it's right.
Oh,
you know?
I do that all the time now, and I was never that person either. Like,
me neither.
Now I have to keep my, like, if someone texted me and I can't respond right away, or like I know I need to talk to them or something, I have to leave it on unread. Or else I will not.
Yeah.
And then like I'll start getting other text message, so theirs goes to like.
I know. Oh my god, I know. That happens to me with inquiries, honestly. And like I'll get Honeybook notifications.
Yep.
And I'll see them, and I have a to-do list app on my phone. So when I see the notification and I read it, and then it says read now, and it's not in my unread whatever's, I'll put it on the to-do list so I won't forget about it. But with Honeybook, like everything is chronological. So when you get your notifications in and you like click that little bell, it goes with like most recent to least recent. And so I'll like when I'm responding to inquiries and emails and I'm doing my Honeybook thing like in the morning, I'll like open up my laptop and hit the first one.
Yeah.
And like they might have only asked me a question an hour ago versus the person that asked me a question like yesterday or the day before. They're not going to get a response until like maybe like noon because I'm like working down the list. I like need to start the other way. I need to like open up the notifications, go to the bottom and go backward, you know.
It's so funny because I was literally doing that the other day. Like I knew I needed to respond to someone, but it was going to take a little bit more time than it was going to take for me to respond to somebody else. So I started from the top and started going down, and I'm like, no, I need to respond to this person. It was like almost like 4 days that they were waiting for a response from me. But I needed to do like a lot. I needed to send them a shopping list for all the alcohol. Like there was like a process that needed to happen. And mentally, for 4 days, apparently, I wasn't ready. But actually, on this topic really quick, and I would love your opinion. So I have 2 clients who ended up canceling, and we have to rebook their dates. And I just like have kind of been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Is there like a time where you're just like, okay, I have to just get this done because it's like on your mind, on your plate, like.
No. I resonate with what you said with like one message will take a lot longer than others, and I will put them on the back burner, unfortunately. And you're so right with like some messages will take you like 4 days just because you don't have the capacity to respond to them. Yeah. Unfortunately I do that, and I'm not proud of it because 4 days I feel like
not a proud moment.
Yeah, to like run your business full time and then not be able to respond to somebody for 4 days, not because you physically can't, but just because you mentally can't, is like it's a hump that I struggle to jump over. Yeah. For sure. So no, I don't really have any tips on that.
If anyone has tips, let us know. But I feel like I'm not like mentally prepared because like, well, so many reasons, but we have to pick a new date, and like we're not doing a Saturday, and like it's just, I don't know, it's a lot, but
it's hard, and I like don't want to bring in like feminism and like being a woman into business because I feel like it doesn't matter, but it does. So I feel like sometimes that and like not having the capacity to respond to somebody and be like, oh, I don't want to, I can't do it. I feel like boo-hoo, I can't do it. I sometimes feel like that could be related to my cycle because I am way more motivated at certain times of the month than others because we literally go through a phase where we have more energy. You know, we have a 28...
Wait, when does that come? Because I don't have any of that.
What? Oh my god, no energy. Oh my god. No, but it's like men have a 24-hour cycle and we have a 28-day cycle. Yeah. And so where they're like tired and boo-hoo, they need to go to bed, that's at night versus we have that for days. So I think that unfortunately, and I don't want to admit it, but I do think that impacts my business because I will be motivated and on top of it, and from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I am go, go, go and ready to work. And then, you know, a week will go by and I'll just be in one of my laggy days where, like, I spent the whole day editing one gallery that would have taken me, like, an hour, like, the week before. And it's, like, I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. I think that's just naturally women and who I am as a person. But the 4-day response time, some people unfortunately get a 4-day response time, and if you're asking me a simple question, you'll get a response, you know, exactly when I see it. Like sometimes somebody will ask, like I'll see a notification for an email and I'll be at my desk and respond right then and there, office hours. And then other people will ask me a more complicated question and I need to do a little bit of diving and a little bit of research, and if I'm in my like high energy phase, like I will sit down and answer it right then and there too. But if it's more complicated and something I need to think about, then, you know, a week later when I'm in my luteal phase or whatever, I don't know the phases really, but if I'm like down in the dumps because of my cycle, then I'll just be like, I'll do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I'm like, I'll do that tomorrow. And
keep
then
pushing it. I know.
Yeah. And never more than a week. 4 days I feel like is pushing it for me. I feel like it's not more than a couple days. But sometimes I do need to like kick myself in the shins and be like, you're doing this right now. Because it's been too long.
I think that's what I need to do with this one. But I think also it's affecting other things in my business because I'm like thinking, oh, I have to respond to this person. I have to respond to this person.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like not giving my attention to everything else because in the back of my head, I'm like, I really got to respond to that person. Whereas if I just did it, it'd be off my plate.
And it's probably only going to take you like 10 minutes.
Literally.
It's probably not going to be that hard. And then as soon as it's done, you're going to be like, why did I make this such a big deal?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
But I think that also, like, another thing, like, that I wanted to wrap up with is just, like, off of imposter syndrome, and I'm going back to this podcast I listened to this morning. It's called Empower Her, and she's amazing, and she's actually pregnant right now, and her whole motto has always been, like, empowering women and all this, and I guess someone, like, messaged her and was like, are you only going to talk about mom things because I don't want to have kids? And at first she was like, I got really offended by that because I'm like, you can't tell me what I can talk about on my own podcast and my own show. She's like, but I also understood where she was coming from. Like, she had this connection and now I'm in a different season than she is. And I feel like that's like what I love about myself is I am going to talk about like what I feel inspired to talk about. And I feel like that's what you have to do with your business. Like, a lot of people feel that they have to change what they're doing or how they're running their business to please other people or to please a specific client or whatever it may be. But I think at the end of the day, you have to remember not everyone is going to be your client. Not everyone's going to be your friend. Not everyone's going to like you. They're going to watch your Instagram, but they might not like you. But I think that that's so important to remind yourself is you just have to be yourself. And the days that we're like in those slumps, like, and we're like, oh, can we really do this? Or should I change what I'm doing because I'm not getting any leads or whatever it is? But you have to remember your business is thriving. It's going really, really well, but you have an off season and that's okay. And I feel like you have to just remind yourself, like, get back out there, do the damn thing. You got this. But I think that you need to continue to be authentic and continue to run your business how you feel you need to run it. Not how someone on social media runs their business, not what they're doing because you think that that's good, or, you know, just do what you feel called to do and what you feel is right.
And people can resonate with you in parts and not as a whole too. That's something important to remind yourself also, is that, you know, you and I, we have the business thing in common, but I can't really resonate with any of the mom stuff or the husband stuff. And that's okay. It doesn't make, you know, it doesn't make that big of a difference because, you know, you're a person as a whole, but you have all of these like subcategories for different things that are underneath yourself and all the hobbies you like, and you can still be friends with people in the book club and not read books. You can still
we all drink wine.
You know, but that's exactly it. Like, you guys can resonate on the wine thing and maybe don't resonate on the book thing. And like, you don't have to be friends with an entire person. Like, maybe you only are friends with parts, and that goes to say with like anything. Like, you can have an amazing business relationship with somebody and not jive with them as friends. Or you can be friends with an amazing person and have a great friendship with them and just don't work well together. And that's fine.
I think that goes back to having like coworkers too. Like, you have to work with those people. You have no choice. When you own your own business, it's different. Like, you need to find someone you drive with because it's just a little different. But like you could not like your boss at work, but you gotta report to them. You gotta, you know, you gotta figure it out, or you just leave and become your own boss, like I did.
Or you love every part of them, like your booze cruise.
Yep.
You know, you can be friends and work together and have it go great. You just have to find those people, and if you can't find those people, that's okay. They don't have to be your best friend.
It's funny you say that because my husband has been at his job. He loves it, or likes it. Let's put it that way. But he was like, my boss never took me out. Like, we never did this. And I'm like, yeah, you don't love your job. Like, you that's not your thing. It's also not my husband's thing. Like, he doesn't go to work happy hours. Like, he doesn't do any of that. But for him, he's like, oh, I get a Christmas bonus at the end of the year. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't enjoy what you do. And he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Kind of thing. Whereas, like, I wanted to take my girls out. And I wanted to build that relationship outside of being behind the bar. Because behind the bar, like, we're really just talking to customers. Like, we've never been able to have that conversation. And I think it's important, like, even if you have, like, a main second shooter that you, like, really like working with, like, go out for coffee with them or something, like, outside of the stress of, like, the wedding day, because that is stressful on its own. And then I think you can communicate better when you do work together again, you know? We did a lot of happy hours at, like, my corporate business, but I feel like it was just so different because it was a corporate job. So it was like, at the end of the day, you're not going to be best friends. I mean, I actually did make very good friends that we still talk to this day. But, like, for the most part, you're not going to be friends with everyone. Yeah. I think that's what we're getting at here.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah, it is fine. Well, I think that's all I have for today.
Yeah. What else is on your mind? That's it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
I think that's it for me, too.
I'm excited to get through this week. Not going to lie. Again, complaining. But I think I complain because I anticipate, like, not that things are going to go wrong, but I anticipate, like, the craziness of it all, so that if it's not too crazy, it's, like, better. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I know I go in with, like, it just being a shit show, lack of better words, but I go in prepared. Like, I go in overly prepared, so that if something were to happen, you know, if we run out of ice, if we run out of something, there's a plan B for everything. We always talk about that. Yeah. But I'm kind of ready for this week to conclude. Good. But yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah. But yeah, save the date, October 18th. Are you going to do another one of your...
Definitely. Yeah, the feedback was really good on the portrait exchange. So we'll probably do it annually. We're thinking. I don't know. Yeah. I love probably that. Spring, before busy season really starts. Yeah. We would love to plan it in the off season. Yeah. Because, as you know, like, planning an event takes a village, and when you just have 2 people, you don't have a village, and so it takes a lot longer to do certain things, and to especially be doing that while you're running your business is just, like, it was way too much. So we'll probably do it in spring. Yep. Spring sometime, April, May. Fun. That's the goal, I think, so that we can work on it in the off season.
I think if Meghan and I have said anything and showed anything, it's, like, I feel like you started this portrait exchange because you didn't see anyone really doing something like this. Yeah. And you wanted something like this. Yeah. And I told you, I was like, if you can't find something that you want, create it yourself. Yeah. And that's what Devin and I did with this event. Like, we wanted an event where businesses could come together, collaborate, just, like, inspire each other, which I totally feel like this event did. And we got so much joy out of it. Yeah. So it's like, if you can't find something that you want to go to, if you don't have that networking event that you really like, can find, create one for yourself. Like, who's stopping you?
Yep. And I love that with yours, it's open to the public. Yeah. Ours is, for photographers. So you can come and not be a photographer, but, what are you going to do there? Yeah. Like, it's meant for photographers. But I love that with yours, like, it's vendors networking with each other and showcasing their businesses to each other, but also to the public. And that brings in a type of person as well. Because if you're at a wedding and you see a mobile bar, or if you're at a graduation party and you see a photo booth, or you're doing, like, whatever, not everybody on the guest list is going to be into it. But, thank you. But, with this, like, everybody that's... I gotta go, guys. But I love that yours is open to the public, with everybody that's coming, like, truly wants to see you. If you're there and you're booked at somebody else's party, they're gonna come because they're coming to the party because they love the guest of honor and whatever. But I love that the people coming to yours, like, want to see you. And the vendors and and I think that, again, it's different. That's so important. Like, just, if you have this
idea and you want to run with it, you just have to do it.
Just do it.
If it doesn't work out, who cares? At least you like tried. And that's what Devin and I said. We were like, if this isn't like our thing, like whatever, but it was so much more than our thing. Like now we like see a future of it. We see doing more of these and same with you. But you didn't know what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah.
You know? Like
I knew
you could
I
have
liked
one person
the idea,
show up.
but yeah.
Or just you and Jess could have showed up.
Yeah.
You would have had a lot of fun, but
yeah.
So anyway, we are wrapping up today.
I needed this.
Yeah, me too.
This was good.
Yeah, I definitely needed this too. I've been in a little slump lately, not gonna lie, so this was great.
Good.
But we hope you guys enjoyed. If we always say, if you have any topics you want us to talk about, send us a message.
Yeah, next episode will be a Q&A. We are going to have a guest on she's going to pick our brains. She is a small business owner who has recently just launched her business, so we're very excited to have her on because she is, a new up-and-coming kind of gal. But she has questions for us of her own, and then we each put out like a poll on our stories for everybody else to ask us questions as well. So she's going to go through that list, ask us, questions from you guys and questions that she has herself, and just Q&A on our lives and about our businesses and about the wedding industry and anything under the sun. So
I'm excited. It'll be a fun episode. So stay tuned.
Cheers.
I love that we do that.